morning, everyone. This is Liz Nichols from Liz Nichols, A Woman in Motion. I have a business that supports women with epilepsy, and I'm here today with two fabulous other people that are coaches for those with epilepsy. And let's bring them on now, have them introduce themselves. Stacey, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Introduce yourself, and so everybody knows a little bit about you. And then after that, we'll go to Stefan.
All right. My name is Stacey Chillemi, and I am a coach, and I am an author and a health specialist. And what I do is I help people improve their life through different natural alternatives. So I help people with their health and with their lifestyle, because a lot of times we don't realize that our lifestyle impacts our health, and the both of them coincide with each other. And I recently wrote 3 books, one having to do with epilepsy. It's called Epilepsy, You're Not Alone, and the other one is about empowerment and to teach people, empower yourself. Don't let your condition empower you, because I wanted people with all different conditions to really understand that we can't let our conditions empower us, that we need to be able to live a healthy, happy life and be able not to focus on the things in life that might be pulling us down, but to focus on the positive things. And I created a positivity and gratitude journal just recently, and that kind of helps people. Sometimes, like we were talking about, we don't realize the little things in life, how much they mean to us until they're taken away from us. And then we realize, how much such little things in life have actually, actually helped us, get through the day and make us happy, healthy, and productive. So, that journal kind of refreshes our body and our mind to give us understand what we really need to focus on and get our priorities in line. So that's what I'm doing. And, it's great to see you guys. I love talking to you guys.
Oh, I know, me too. And Stefan, over to you. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you, Liz. It's amazing to be with everyone today because we get out there and we help others with epilepsy. And I never knew that would be my ultimate goal. When I had epilepsy and had seizures for 20 years, I tried to live without it. And it was what was on the outside that was changing me on the inside. And I just thought of that today. Yes. When I'm in the gym. I'm actually in my individual sauna here, just finished up, but I said it's not what it's on the outside of us, it's what's on the inside of us that matters.
Yes.
Because if you let what's on the outside of you affect you, you become that, and that becomes you. You want this outside of you to become you.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
So the sauna, yeah, exactly. The sweat, the steam, you're burning off calories. This is a part of life, and that's why we're all here today. I'm working on my second book called Thank You to the 1000th Power, and it's about coming back to the ultimate dream of from the FUs to thank yous. I got my little shirt here, and that's what it says. And somebody came up like, "Oh, I thought that was a flower," and because they see it from afar, it looks like a flower, huh? And so when you pull up a little closer, it says "Turn the FUs to thank yous."
I love it. I thought
that was a great analogy because they saw the beauty in it. Instead of people saying, "Well, F you," I was kind of concerned like if I wore a shirt like that. No, it's the FUs to thank yous. So that's what
I want a shirt. I want you to send me a shirt because I love it.
I'll send you one of my books too, a signed copy of my one book, and you send me all 30 of yours.
I will.
Or at least one. The one you're talking about. That's what we're here today. We kind of came up with the idea right now, right, to talk about nutrition, coffee in the morning, epilepsy, what affects you. So let's get on that topic with Stacey. So take it away, and we'll join in on what you do or what you felt with coffee and caffeine.
Yeah. So, with my medications, I take 3 different medications to control my epilepsy. And my doctor had recently changed up my medication, and, it made me feel better. But, at nighttime, it makes me tired, but it gives me a great night's sleep. But sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I still feel that little bit of tiredness, and then it wears off. And and throughout my life, my medication, I noticed the difference when the medication will pull my energy level down a little bit. And so what I was doing, I was using caffeine as an alternate to give me that boost. But what people don't realize, everyone loves caffeine. It's so popular. You see Rook, you see Starbucks, you see Dunkin' Donuts, and we keep drinking the coffee to give us that little bit of an energy boost. But they don't realize that, it's also dehydrating us. And not most people don't drink enough of water to begin with. So what happens is we get that high and then we crash and we come down and we start feeling exhausted. And a lot of times people are at work, so there's nowhere to sleep and there's nowhere to rest. And they're just like pulling themselves so sluggish through the day. And I've been one of those people, and I was drinking 5-6 cups of coffee, just anytime I started feeling it became like an addiction. Well, my coffee, where's my coffee? I know. And I get a cup of coffee, and I was actually hurting myself. And what I did was I switched. I still drink some coffee. I have like maybe 1 or 2 cups during the day, but I used to drink like 5 or 6, so there's a big difference between 5 or 6 and 1 or 2. And I switched it out to matcha tea. And what I noticed is when I started drinking matcha tea, it has caffeine in it, but it has green beans instead of the caffeine beans. And I started losing my urge to want to drink coffee. I don't know, I just didn't, I enjoyed drinking the matcha tea. And I only had one glass of matcha tea a day, and I completely lost my urge to drink caffeine. And then I started taking in the morning, I started taking pomegranate, which helps renew the cells in your body, because as we get older, our cell development of cells kind of slow down, everything slows down, and that's why we start to feel, a little bit like slower and not as focused. So pomegranate and ginseng, those 2 things gave me a really good boost. And I would also do, beetroot, and I would do apple cider vinegar, and the apple cider vinegar helped with the weight loss and helped with the energy, and it helped, and so did the beetroot. And taking those things in the morning kind of gave me that energy, and I didn't need all that coffee. So slowly I was drinking maybe 1 cup of coffee. I stopped using sugar. I was drinking black coffee, and just and I started really feeling much better, health wise.
Yeah. Liz, did you have any experience like that, or same thing? Or your coffee is how many a day, would you say?
Yeah, actually, I'm just pretty much doing 1 a day, but I have my water both. I actually do a weird combination. Well, I don't know if it's weird, but I put in cream and cinnamon and
that's
coffee.
Very good.
Yeah, and so it's got cinnamon and milk and coffee and a couple other things. I stick it in the blender and I froth it, so it's like a brilliant cappuccino.
Yeah.
But I only do 1 a day. But that's interesting. I have 1 a day at the most. I guess I'm addicted to it.
That's a powerful one, because I see you before and after within 3 minutes, and you're like, oh, a different person. You wake up.
I know, right? When I first came on earlier, I was like, good morning. And now I'm like, woo, here goes the day, right? So so
placebo effect too. It's like, oh, I'm drinking this.
Yeah. But it's Stacey, I love all that information about things to do in the morning. I'm gonna have to try some of that.
And it lasts throughout the day. It's amazing, but you don't feel you don't feel any type of crash when you start taking the pomegranate and the ginseng, and you do it on a daily basis, and you start drinking, maybe 1 glass of matcha tea or something like that. Some people are like, ooh, but then they try it and they actually like it, because there's so many different types. Like you said, you put cinnamon in it. You could put cinnamon, you could put vanilla in it, and it gives such a nice, flavory taste to it. So there's lots of ways that you could drink it, and you feel energetic throughout the day. You might maybe around 9 or 10 o'clock, you start coming down, and, you start feeling tired, but it holds you up for quite some time.
And Stefan, you just gave up coffee. You're my hero.
Yeah.
You know, Stacey, when you were talking about it, what it reminded me of was why that popular drink came out about 10 years ago, 5 Hour. And I was
I remember that.
Yeah, I was a heavy alcoholic in 2010, 11. I worked in the bar gaming industry for trivia games. So I was calling bars all day, all over the US. And I would be hungover when I showed up at work, literally that bad, like throwing up sometimes. I was drained. I was drinking water. I was trying to feel better, but then I would have to, a coffee helped, and then I crashed. And I
Right.
started discovering 5-hour, and it was like perfect because that's how they made their money was,
Yeah.
3 or 4 cups of coffee about by noon, but I didn't want any more coffee. I didn't like that taste in the afternoon. So I started drinking 5-hour. But that's a total, my heart rate picked up. I had heart palpitations. I had headaches. I wasn't drinking enough water. It just seems like there's so much wrong with it, especially when you drink 2 of those and 4 cups of coffee. And then you
Yeah.
go drink beer that night. That doesn't help. It's a lifestyle that we have to change. So
Oh
yeah, I
yeah.
just gave up coffee.
You know what happened to me was, do you know those little, they had these little powders that you can, I forgot the name of it, but it gives you energy while you exercise, because a lot of times,
Mhm.
especially when you first start exercising, it's hard to get into the mode. And they had these little, it was powder, you put it in water, had flavor to it, and you drink it, and you gave you so much energy. And I never bothered really to check, but when I did check, it had so much caffeine in it, and I was using it for a while. And then what happened was I couldn't get to sleep at night. It took me like a
Yeah.
month to wean off of it where I could actually go to sleep. I was up till 5 o'clock in the morning, tossing and turning, tossing and turning. And I realized it's that stupid powder. All that caffeine just built up in my system over time. And I had so much caffeine in my system that I couldn't get a good night's sleep. I was tossing and turning. It didn't matter what I did or, what I took. I could not fall asleep. It was because of all that caffeine for months I was taking in that little powder.
Well, yeah, some of it is definitely affecting us. And I have a chocolate addiction that I do at night. And sometimes it feels like the sugar helps me sleep actually a little bit.
Oh
The
yeah.
healthy dark chocolate.
Oh,
If
dark chocolate. Yeah.
yeah, dark chocolate. So I think what happened was with the caffeine, me drinking it all day, I was on a pretty good routine of sleeping. And lately in the past week, it's been different, but I'm pushing through it. I get up every 2 or 3 hours,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of like, it's not the same, but I have to accept it because we have to realize our body's not adapting to it, or it's just not good for us. And that's
Right.
great that you see it. And Liz, you see it too. You kind of become aware of what something is doing to you, whether it's alcohol or drugs or caffeine, anything, especially with epilepsy. We want to hear back from people on here to subscribe, like, and share on our channel here, and also ask questions. Put things on the YouTube channel about questions. Reach out to Liz, reach out to Stacey, and ask questions about this. And we could help people, all around the world that have questions about whatever, epilepsy, caffeine, things like that.
And a lot of people tell me too is that they can't go to sleep at night because they can't stop thinking. A lot of people are always worrying, and they're worrying about what they have to do. Tomorrow I got to do this, I got to finish this, I got to go here, I got to do this, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like that. I have to admit, I'm like that too. It's like, I'm a doer, and once I get started, I want to keep doing it until I finish it. But there's not enough hours in the day to finish things, and then we have to realize at one point of our life we have to say, okay, it's 5 o'clock or it's 6 o'clock. I have to put everything away. I'll get it done tomorrow, and that's hard for a lot of people, including myself, to do. And then you think about it, and then you keep thinking about it, and then people have a hard time going to sleep because they can't put their mind at rest. And there are yoga exercises that you can do to help you fall asleep at night. And you can go onto YouTube and you can put sleep poses for yoga, and and it will come up, and there are certain stretches that will actually start to make you relaxed and tired before you go to bed to help you sleep if you're one of those type of people.
Yeah, that's actually, I'm going to look into that because I sit down at the end of a long day and I just relax and have, a glass or two of red wine with my dinner. And
Yeah.
that seems to just kind of the food and the wine. And then, by the time I go to bed, I'm out cold within seconds. But doing yoga is probably much healthier than having a glass or two of wine.
I used to like to drink wine at night because it put me to sleep, but then I also started to notice that my stomach was getting bigger. After a while, like all the sugar in the wine was actually, I was putting on pounds. And then one day I went on the scale, I said, oh my God, so I had to try to find a healthier alternative, because I used to love my wine. And then I started taking a new medication and it interacted with wine. So I had to cut out wine completely because, you if something is not agreeing with your body, you have to just, you have to stop. You have to, you can't push your body when your body says this doesn't agree with me. You can't keep doing it because you like it. You have to do what your body wants, not what you want to do.
Well, it's funny. It's interesting you said that because, again, I enjoy, a glass or two of wine, red wine, pretty much every night. And I love it. But I stepped on the scale, excuse me, last week, and I went, oh, I gained 8 pounds in the last couple months. Well, what's that about, right? I'm like, oh, so there goes, you've gained 7-8 pounds in the last couple months, whatever. And you're right, it's probably the sugar in the wine.
Yeah, I put on during COVID. I was drinking wine and I gained 10 pounds. I had to, and I lost a lot of it. And it was, it was all the sugar in the wine. And I never even thought about it, and I had glass, 1 or 2 glasses and, I didn't realize, but till I went on the scale and then my eyes opened up and I was like,
It's funny you mentioned that because I just went through that. So I think maybe I'll be cutting back on the wine and doing the yoga instead to kind of chill out, relax at the end of a long day. So yeah, oh my gosh, such great conversations. I think we just lost Stefan.
We did. I'm sure he'll be back though. I think
I love our talks. This is great. That's so much great information. And we'll have to make sure that we share, all our websites and all our contact information so people can reach out. And you've got a really cool website that I check out. And the Herbal Guide, is that you've got great products. Really great.
I have the Complete Herbal Guide, which is my blog, and that website is just dedicated to new information that I put on every day about all different health matters, epilepsy, diabetes, cancer, everything. Even people who just want to improve their fitness and are looking for ways, to help them. And if you're middle aged, we can't do what the 20-year-olds are doing. We can't go to the gym and pump the way they pump. So there's other alternatives, other exercises, because all you really need is, 15 to 30 minutes a day of, nice, moderate exercise, and you will notice a big difference in your body. And, so I show those type of things. And then I have staceychillemi.com where I have my coaching and all the different services that I provide to help people. And I just created a website for my books and for other people's books. And it's called Health and Wellness Publications, where I devote it to books that help people and helps them mentally, physically, and spiritually. And I'm really excited. Can I show you? Do you mind if I show you?
Oh, that's great. Go ahead.
I just came out with a journal, and it's called the Positivity and Gratitude Journal. And what I noticed is I noticed it when I couldn't drive, when my doctor said, Stacey, you're having seizures. You can't drive until we can get your seizures under control. And that little thing about driving, I felt imprisoned in my own home. Something so simple had such a big impact on my life. And that's when I started to really learn about gratitude and looking at the positive things in life. Because I don't think I would have got through it if I didn't focus on the positive and I wasn't grateful for the things I had around me, like my family, when I went outside, the trees, nature, all the little things. And I had to take my mind and focus on the positive and have gratitude for the things I do have and not focus on what I don't have. So I created a journal to help people who are struggling with the same thing. And it talks about how you can create a journal yourself, and it has like different things in it where you could actually write and help yourself do exercises. And this is the book I was telling you about that I will send you. And it's called Epilepsy, You're Not Alone. And I wrote the book years ago, and I just rewrote it to make it more up to date. And it talks about to show people that we're not alone. So many people feel alone and they feel embarrassed to talk about it. And it's not talked about enough in our society. It really, people need to really, talk about it, because I don't think people really understand how many people have epilepsy. And there still is a stigmatism, people get scared, when they see people with epilepsy, or they might say, I don't know if she could do that. What happens if she'll have a seizure, And that's happened to me in my life, So, this talks about, how we're not alone. It shares other people's stories, how they got through it, and what I learned from other people and how I got through it. So it has like different techniques and different ways to learn how to actually cope with epilepsy, because I get mad because you know what? We go onto the internet, people, you look up epilepsy, you see what epilepsy is about, you see the treatment, the symptoms, blah 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 blah, but where do you find websites that talk about coping mechanisms, how to cope with it, how to live with it? It's it affects you mentally and physically. So many times I went on Facebook and you see people with bruises and broken bones, and people who are mentally just totally distorted by the disorder, because it has shooken them in so many different ways. And parents and caregivers who love these people, but they just don't know what the next step is. How do I take care of these people? What can I do? I feel powerless. And the person going through it feels like their life is over. They can't do this, they can't do that. And yes, you can, you just have to learn. It's a step-by-step process and you can get there. You just have to, and it's not going to happen overnight, because a lot of people they want to start doing something, and in a couple of days they want to get from A to Z. It's a process, just like everything in life is. You want to feel better, you start from the beginning, and it's going to take time, but you'll see the differences as you go along. And that's what I try to teach to people. And then I wrote a book about empowerment and empowering yourself, and not having to, for people, don't let your conditions empower you, because so many people, no matter what the condition is, you find people get very depressed. They get very angry. Why does this happen to me? And they feel like, they just want to give up. And I'm saying, don't give up. You have a lot to be grateful for. You have a lot of things in life you still can do. As long as you're positive, and long as you know how to use the power of positivity, you could do anything you want. And people sometimes don't realize that, but we can, and we will, and you just need people like us to show them that direction and show them how. And, anything is possible in life. I don't give up. I don't, if one path is not working, I find another path,
Yeah.
And as long as we're happy, just like you guys were saying, as long as we're happy with what is inside of us, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what other people think. It doesn't matter how we look on the outside. It's how we feel on the inside that matters.
Absolutely. Oh, I love that. And Stefan,
hey, you're back.
You're back.
I got lost in the sauna. The phone got too hot, and I was in the sauna. Hey, sometimes things get too hot in life. I love analogies. So it got way too hot in there, and the phone went. So I just meditated, and I love how I do this. I know I'm complimenting myself, but we can all do this. I used to be like, the phone, God, you get all pissed off about the computer, the phone, and you got a light that goes off right here, just like the sunlight. And it says, just be calm. I just meditated. I reset the phone. I came back on.
Right.
And it got through it. And I didn't, that's what it was meant to be. You two talk and things happen in life. I want to use this analogy too, as you were saying, Stacey, because sometimes we are told what to do. And this area right here, right turn only, one way only, you're driving down a road and you have to go that way. And people are in the road of life and they have to go a certain way when you have epilepsy. You have to take medication. You have to not drive, you have to obey the laws, and you get things taken away from you and you're told what to do. And that can be the hardest thing for people to understand. And they start saying this, F you, F this, and they don't understand how to deal with it. That's what we're here for, especially I just had somebody message me yesterday from Kenya in Africa, and he is dealing with his dad who has epilepsy for years and didn't want to take any medication, didn't want to do anything about it. It's fine. But he keeps having seizures. He said, how do I get him to take the medication? So that's a good topic here, or just that's kind of what happens to people in general, right?
Oh, definitely. A lot of people are in denial because they know once they accept that there is something wrong, then they have to approach it. And, it's a scary thing. And some people they don't want to deal with the problem. People are afraid of change too. So many people don't want to improve themselves because they're afraid of what's on the other side. What's going to happen if I take this medicine? What's going to happen, this and that, and blah, 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 blah. And some people are just old school. There's so many times I'm like, Dad, you need to do this, you need to do that. And he's like, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. And it's hard when it's old school to change their mind because they are, they live life and they think they know it all. But then you have to kind of like just work with them and not tell them what to do, but very softly try to explain, this is what could happen. I care about you. I want to help you, and I don't want to see this X, Y, and Z happen to you. I want you to be here for me. And if you hit your head or if you fall down, you might not get up. And I need you. I need you here with me. And please just work with me. And they might feel the sympathy, not the sympathy. They might feel the compassion. They please you. They want to, they don't want to, go, they want to make you happy because they're they're the father and you're the child and they love you and they want to be there for you. So that you have to try to change their mindset. Like you said, reset the brain.
Yeah, this is I love our conversations. And to everybody listening, we're doing these pretty much every week. We're also interviewing other people. So definitely you've got to check out our Facebook page and our Facebook private group and on all of our websites. There's lots of resources out there. And we're all here to help others with epilepsy. So any final thoughts, Stefan?
Yeah, that's a good point. I wanted to bring this up in our meeting too, and this is a good group meeting to have, is to invite people out there to tell their story, reach out to us and message us on Facebook here and our group. And if you have an epilepsy story or if you know others, so I want to have have people coming into us, and then every Friday we interview them, and maybe Monday we do our little thing, but at least once a week we have our regular Friday event with the three of us, and then maybe one or two others that have epilepsy. Because also people dealing with it just reminds me so much of AA and Alcoholics Anonymous. The Al-Anon part of it is the family members that are affected, and the people that say he won't change, he won't take medication. This is something that they have to understand, that they shouldn't be doing it for themselves. Like you said, Stacey, they should do it for others around them. Do you want, to help your daughter out or your son out because they're dealing with your epilepsy? And they look at it differently that way. It's not like take your medication or else. It's basically your denial of epilepsy and seizures is affecting others. So wake up.
Yeah, I'll give you a great example. Like my grandfather, he had an adverse effect, and he got on a medication, and he got really sick, and his kidneys failed, and they needed to put him on dialysis. And if he didn't go on dialysis, he would have died. And he did not want to go on dialysis. He didn't want to spend the rest of his life, going 3 days a week to dialysis. And they had to have a sit down talk, the family. And they said, we want you here. The grandkids want you here. We want you. We love you, and we don't want you to leave us. And, we need you. We need you. And, that's what made him go on dialysis, because he had got to a point where he had rather just suffer and go to the heavens, cross over to the heavens, than have to be on dialysis. And, with epilepsy, you could hit your head and not wake up. So anything could happen. You could have an injury and something could happen. You could, a hard hit on the head can cause dementia. There's so many different things that could happen if you don't take your medication. Your body becomes addicted to a lot of this medication. And if you try to just stop it or become your own doctor, a lot of bad things could happen. And, we need to educate these people, and they're, and tell them what the consequences could be, and tell them how much we love them and how much we want to be there for them. And once they hear that, they don't want to let you down, especially if they have love for these people. Then they're not going to want to let you down, and you have to work on their compassion and approach things in a different way.
This is so good. Like, again, to everybody out there, come and join us, because there's lots of great, information that can be shared here. So definitely check out the websites, the Facebook group. Any final thoughts, anybody, before we log off for the day? I have to go to work.
Stacey, real quick, Stacey, you said something that reminds me of all the writing I'm doing in my book is the old you versus the new you. And the old you says, I don't want to change. I don't want to change. That was my alcohol. That was my gambling. That was my addiction. That was my escapism. I don't have epilepsy. I had brain surgery. I'm fine. I can drink again. 2 DUIs, jail, homelessness later. I go, well, maybe I should change,
Yeah.
And some people never wake up and they just die because I'm not going to dialysis. And I work in assisted living. One of our residents was the same way 2 years ago. He didn't want to go. Would you rather die or go to dialysis? Dialysis. There you go. I just thought of that. But he said, he couldn't process it. Took him a couple of days. Okay. So he went. Now he's going 3 times a week, and he's better. He's a lot better. He's living. That's a better thing. That's about it.
100%. When they realize, that it doesn't, that people love them and there are people that want them there. Some people, like I talk about, some people feel alone, and they have to realize that there are other people out there. And even the support groups on Facebook, if you find a good supportive group on Facebook, you could get a lot of help. A lot of people are embarrassed because they don't want other people to know that they're posting. But if you go onto one of those private groups where everybody has the same problem, you don't feel embarrassed because these people are going through the same things. So my suggestion to people, if you're embarrassed to talk to other people, you could either, directly message us because nobody else is going to see it, or go to groups where everybody has the same problem and they can relate to you.
Okay, so this is awesome again, and have a great day, everybody out there. And you guys, I'll see you again on Friday. And have a wonderful day. Thanks. Bye, you guys. See you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.